also there. They've already previously alleged about how BRS is trying to poach their MLAs. Therefore, they immediately want to form the government, immediately take oath and swear in so that they can keep their team intact. They only have very few numbers, above the magic figure. Therefore, it is very important and crucial for the Congress to maintain this figure, and that is why all this hurry is what the comments about this the fast-paced meetings are being discussed. So let's wait and see what the Congress comes up with in the state of Telangana.
Oh yes, absolutely. So as Varshini, the Congress fearing poaching, and of course there were a lot of leaders who actually left the BRS to join the Congress party. Thank you for the moment, Varshini, for joining us. We're going to be back with you to get more updates as the day progresses. Well, you're watching Republic TV, and on the other side, it's day one of the winter session of Parliament. All eyes are on the Prime Minister's pre-session address. And a fiery debate is likely in Parliament today as the ethics panel is set to table a report on the Mahua payoff scam.
From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more. All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
Day one of the winter session in Parliament. All eyes on Prime Minister's pre-session address. And that's the top story that we're getting for you in this edition. As I say, a very good morning. A quick check of the headlines. Fiery winter session. It is the first day and everyone awaits Prime Minister's pre-session address. Fiery debate likely in Parliament today as ethics panel set up to table report on Mahua payoff scam. BJP wins Hindi heartland states of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh with a historic mandate.
और कुछ लोग तो कह रहे हैं कि आज की इस हैट्रिक ने 24 की हैट्रिक की गारंटी दे दी है भाई, स्वागत है।
Prime Minister makes 2024 declaration, says hat-trick in states will lead to 2024 hat-trick. The verdict is out. Congress now fears poaching. Party calls for key meet. BJP says expect a surprise soon. And first up, we got across to some breaking news coming in as the Congress is in panic mode. The Cold War has begun. Just 24 hours have passed. Uttam Kumar Reddy and Bhatti Vikramarka Mallu, senior leaders who say that they will not attend the Congress CLP meet. Senior leaders are revolting over the choice of CM candidate Revant Reddy, saying that he's been in the Congress only for 3 years. Top sources in Hyderabad are saying that many more MLAs are in the resort, but many who still haven't come. Let me straight away cut across to Varshini, who's joining us live on the broadcast to give us more details on the same. Varshini, well, not a very unexpected situation, so as to say. But coming to what the reasons for this rebellion are and what the status is like when it comes to how many who are in the flock and how many who are likely to revolt.
Well, if you see the situation here at the CLP meeting is that the MLAs have been reaching here. But what we are given to understand is that from our sources that the senior leaders, important leaders are still not here. And revolt against the Congress leadership is also something that is being talked about right now, because Uttam Kumar Reddy and Mallu Bhatti Vikramarka are also the CM faces that were in the forefront before the polling happened. They were also in the forerunner. They were also the forerunners for the chief minister phase. But now you can see that there is an unhinged support that Revant Reddy has been receiving both from the public, the cadre, and many MLAs as well. Therefore, this CLP meeting was convened at 9:30 a.m. today morning, and it was informed yesterday itself. Since a lot of MLAs in other districts and other constituencies had to travel to Hyderabad to attend this meeting, they had pushed it to 9:30 a.m. today morning. Though DK Shivakumar is here handling the situation, we are also understanding that there is panic right now in the Congress party because of the senior leaders like Uttam Kumar Reddy, Mallu Bhatti Vikramarka revolting against making Revant Reddy Reddy as the Chief Minister. Like you mentioned, this is not new for the Congress. We've been seeing it in several states that this is going on. But still now what is important is that forming a government is very important, because Congress has to face the poaching risk that the BRS is putting for them, and at the same time they also should prove their majority, and they have only few seats above the magic figure, so they cannot afford to lose any MLAs at this point, or else they will not be able to form the government. Therefore, so Congress has a lot of threats right now, and they have to come up with a plan to make sure all these MLAs are on board. But at the same time, if you see very important leaders, senior leaders who have been in the Congress party and working in the state of Telangana, like Uttam Kumar Reddy and Malubati Vikramarka, revolting against Revanth Reddy is what is becoming the issue here. And there is also, we spoke about this earlier, Deputy Chief Minister issues also going on. Apparently, two people have been, asked Deputy Chief Minister positions, but the Congress is still discussing and, skeptical about whom to make it. That is why these meetings are very crucial at this point of time. If senior leaders and important leaders like Uttam Kumar Reddy and Malubati Vikramarka revolt against, there will be a lot of other MLAs who will take their side as well, which will bring down the majority number for the Congress party. Therefore, that is why this panic is now prevailing, because they have definitely fought against a very strong party in Telangana like BRS, and they've gained these many seats. And if at all they lose even one or two MLAs, it's going to put the Congress in a massive trouble in the state of Telangana, and that is why we can see panic here. But an official confirmation is still expected from the Congress party to give an explanation about what the current status is. Since yesterday when DK Shivakumar spoke, he did not mention about any of the proceedings. He only said that tomorrow morning we have a meeting at 9:30 and we'll get back to you. So it means that they don't have anything concrete or solid to make a statement per se, and that is why it is also taking so much delay. So we can expect some kind of an action today, some kind of disagreements and movements from in the city of Hyderabad with regards to choosing the Chief Minister of Telangana. Since Revanth Reddy only recently moved to the Congress party, he is not a Congress person from a long time, is what the reasons that are being put forth by the other senior leaders who've been in the Congress party for a very long time to not give him the chief ministerial post. So we'll have to wait and see what is going to happen and who is going to become the Chief Minister of the state of Telangana.
Oh yes, absolutely, Varshini. But quickly picking from two things that you mentioned. Firstly, as far as poaching is concerned, this was a fear of the Congress even before the results were declared. And DK Shivkumar, chosen as the troubleshooter who had flown into Telangana a day before to ensure that that doesn't happen. Now, like you're saying, that the margin is very less. And they already were sensing that BRS could be in talks with some of their MLAs, and poaching is likely to happen. So that is certainly one factor. The other one, of course, being, does DK Shivkumar, their troubleshooter, have a specific strategy in place? What is the day going to look like?
To answer your first question regarding the poaching, definitely there is a scare, because even before the results came out, the Congress came out in the public and alleged that the BRS party is talking to a lot of MLAs, particularly CM KCR. The previous CM KCR himself was talking to a lot of MLAs, and that is what brought in the panic at the first place. After that, now when the results are out, since the margin is very less here, now the fear has only increased from here, because losing even a very few MLAs, like 2 or 3 MLAs, could put the Congress in danger. They will not be able to form the government, because the other parties like the MIM, the BJP and the BRS have good number of seats, and they can also try and take in some MLAs, and it will be difficult for the Congress to prove a majority, and it is very nearly impossible for the Congress party to form alliance with any of these other major parties in this state of Telangana. Therefore, this is a do or die option for the Congress party. They have to make sure that their team of MLAs are intact, that their CLP meeting goes well, and they are able to come to a consensus and take a decision upon this. And at the same time, there is also a fear of rebel MLAs like senior leaders. When Uttam Kumar Reddy and Malubati Vikramarka speak about rebel rebelling against their own high command with regards to the selection of the chief minister candidate, it is only going to make things worse, as a lot of MLAs who will take the side of the senior leaders will also be very prevalent here. Therefore, the Congress is definitely stuck in a tricky situation, which is a similar situation to what we saw in Karnataka and other states as well. But DK Shivakumar is the only promising face that we can see here who could handle a situation like this. We have seen him mastering such scenarios earlier as well. Therefore, the Congress party has sent him as a election observer here to the state of Telangana to ensure that he is able to handle things very softly, and he's been able to bring everybody on board on a singular decision. So we'll have to see what is going to happen and get more details from the inside as well. With our sources inside, we can also try and get more details as to what are the developments, and we will be getting back. But for now, this is the recent developments that we are picking up.
Right, Varshini, thank you for the moment, for getting us the latest. Of course, we'll keep coming back to you as to how the story develops and what the Congress really lands in. For now, we shift our focus. And yes, the probe report by the Lok Sabha ethics panel in the cash for query case against Trinamool Congress MP Michaung Cyclone will top the list of business as Parliament convenes for what promises to be a stormy winter session. The bills to be tabled on the opening day of the winter session include one to regulate the appointments for the Chief Election Commission and other election commissioners. For now, I straight away cut across to my colleague Piyush, who's tracking all the developments on the same. Piyush, everyone is waiting to see what really is the fate for Michaung Cyclone. As far as being in the parliament is concerned, the report is to be tabled. We also saw how Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary had written a letter to Om Birla saying that expulsion is a very extreme step and there must be a fair investigation. What really are the voices you're picking up in terms of what's expected the report will state and the result of what Michaung Cyclone could face?
Report citing the cash for queries reported scam will be tabled to the Speaker, and perhaps all eyes will be on Speaker Om Birla as he would take his decision on what actually would be the fate of Michaung Cyclone. Now, this is very important to note that the parliamentary committee members, when we had spoken to him, the parliamentary committee members, when we had spoken to them, they had mentioned very clearly that they had found some very scathing allegations against Michaung
Cyclone. And yes, the conduct that was adopted by Michaung Cyclone was not appropriate. In fact, they had gone to an extent of even mentioning that perhaps the Michaung Cyclone having shared her ID to multiple people over there outside the country was also a breach somewhere in the national security. Now, Michaung Cyclone, on her side of defense, has already mentioned that she is all prepared to face any of the consequences which is going to be given to her by the Speaker. In fact, she has also mentioned that the judgment that is going to be given on her would not be fair. It is going to be interesting to note from here on, however, that what actually would be the decision that would be taken by the Speaker, having taken into consideration that the parliamentary committee members have already taken a very strict stand against Michaung Cyclone of what her stand has been on this. Having said that, you rightly mentioned that the opposition members, though not overtly but tacitly, have come in support of Michaung Cyclone. In fact, even Trinamool Congress, the party to which Michaung Cyclone belongs, has not officially come out and given her support to Michaung Cyclone,
Right,
but have said that
the audio line is not well. Also, take a quick check of that while our team fixes it from here. In the meanwhile, 7 reactions coming in, like we are saying that a stormy winter session that is expected. Let's listen into what's coming in from all the sides.
पहला दिन है और हम चाहे सरकार चाहेगी हर मुद्दे पे अगर विपक्ष चर्चा करना चाहते हैं तो चर्चा करें, वो नोटिस दें जो चेयरमैन राज्यसभा, स्पीकर लोकसभा तय करेंगे उस हर मुद्दे पे सरकार चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार है।
All right, so that was Union Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal on the winter session of the Parliament. Remember, these are the details we are picking up. The bills that are to be tabled on the opening day of the winter session include one to regulate the appointments for the Chief Election Commission and other election commissioners. In the meanwhile, all eyes on what could be in store for Mahua Moitra, as the investigation committee is all set to table that report on the cash query scam. We also remember how Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary had written a letter to Om Birla asking that there must be a fair investigation. Meanwhile, we have more breaking news coming in. As the all-party meet ahead of the Parliament winter session is underway, and how exactly is the opposition chalking out its strategy ahead of the bills that are to be tabled in the winter session of the Parliament? We also have Mallikarjun Kharge speaking on it. Let's listen in.
बुलाया हूँ ऑल पार्टी का, तो ऑल पार्टी के मीटिंग में जो डिसाइड होता क्या करना आज क्या नहीं करना, उसके लिए हम बैठ रहे अभी 10 o'clock, 8:45, सॉरी आई एम सॉरी 9:45, तो फिर उसके बाद जो भी होगा।
Cutting across to Harsha, who's joining us on the phone line. Harsha, in terms of what's expected in the winter session of the Parliament, the bills that will be tabled, and most importantly, whether there will be order in the House. Does the opposition have a specific strategy? Can we expect constructive business, or what really is the opposition looking at?
What we know, Suresh, so far is that already there are multiple bills which have already been listed in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, both the houses. But this opposition meet is very important because today in the entire Lok Sabha, a resolution will be passed against Mahua Moitra's suspension by all the leaders agreeing to the resolution. But a few days back we saw how Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary was batting for Mahua Moitra, and there was sort of infighting also which was seen in the Congress party. Therefore, all the opposition leaders are today meeting in the chamber of Mallikarjun Kharge, and in the chamber of Mallikarjun Kharge, the entire strategy for this winter session will decide, because there are very important bills which have already been listed. But apart from the bills, the major issue is of Mahua Moitra, because during the all-party meet also several opposition leaders from TMC also stated that there should be a discussion in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, both the houses, on Mahua Moitra's cash procurement issue, and then Speaker should take a decision exactly suspension of Mahua Moitra should happen or not happen. Then exactly what is going to be the opposition strategy, that will be decided in this opposition meeting in the Mallikarjun Kharge's chamber, and all the leaders are participating in this meeting as of now. We have got to know. So we have to see when the business actually starts, the winter session, when it commences in both the houses at 11 o'clock, that what is going to be the issue today, because last during special session and in the monsoon session, Suresha, we already seen earlier that how there was ruckus, continuously disruption of parliament in both the houses by the opposition.
मूल मंत्र रहा है, और तेलंगाना में भी हमारी 1 सीट थी और अब 8 सीट बढ़ी है, तो हमारा जनाधार बढ़ा है। अगले इलेक्शन में देखिएगा हम तेलंगाना में भी बहुत अच्छा करेंगे।
Alright, so we keep cutting into the live sound bites that are coming in, as all eyes on what really lies and is expected in the winter session of the Parliament. Harsha continues to be with us on the phone line. Harsha, please tell us what is underway in the all-party meet ahead of the winter session of the Parliament.
So we got to know, Trisha, that the one day back there was an all-party meet in which all the opposition leaders were called. Most of the party's opposition leaders were called, and Parliamentary Affairs Minister was also there when it was asked by the opposition leaders to let the winter session commence smoothly, swiftly, so that there are several bills which could be passed before the general election. But what we have got to know today is that the several opposition leaders like Derek O'Brien, like Manish Tiwari, like leaders from BRS, leaders from TMC have already given.
पर क्वेश्चन भी है, तो मुझे लोकसभा में भी जाने का मौका मिलेगा और राज्यसभा में भी जाने का मौका मिलेगा। कामकाज की दृष्टि से एक संसदीय परंपरा में मोदी जी के आने के बाद जो प्रोडक्टिविटी है वो बढ़ी है। मैं विश्वास करता हूं कि सभी लोग उस चर्चा में भाग लेंगे और जो मुद्दे हमारे सामने लिस्ट हैं उन पर चर्चा हो, व्यवधान ना हो, ये ज़्यादा बेहतर होगा।
जी सर, जगह पे बीजेपी ने एक अच्छी जीत हासिल की है, मध्य प्रदेश उसमें है, और आपने भी काफ़ी आपका जो रहा है, आपने बताया कि 90 से 92 जो है आपकी सभाएं रही हैं। क्या बोलना चाहेंगे, क्या की फैक्टर्स थे कि मध्य प्रदेश में जो 2018 गैप था वो 23 में इतना बढ़ गया?
ये मोदी नाम का मैजिक है और हम लोकसभा और राज्यसभा में मेज सभा कर उनका अभिनंदन करेंगे। इस जीत का जश्न देश की कार्यकर्ता तो मना ही रहे हैं, जनता भी मना रही है, क्योंकि ये सीधा जनता का कनेक्ट है, क्योंकि गरीब कल्याण जनता के लिए।
All right, so those are the voices coming in ahead of the winter session of the Parliament. Remember, a fiery, stormy session that is expected. Meanwhile, Piyush and Harsha also giving us details of the bills that are set to be tabled on the opening day of the winter session. Meanwhile, as we told you, the all-party meet that is underway. We continue to get you all the latest. For now, we also take a quick check of the other top stories in brief. A new session of Parliament is set to begin amid a intense buzz on 5 pivotal bills addressing the expansion and restructuring of reservation laws and representation in the prospective 19-member Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir will be deliberated upon. Reviewing preparedness measures of the central agencies and the governments of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and Puducherry, Cabinet Secretary stressed that all preventive and precautionary measures should be taken. He said the aim should be to avoid any loss of life and minimize damage to property. Tamil Nadu government has declared a public holiday for all government offices in Chennai, Tiruvallur, Kanchipuram and Chengalpattu districts today in view of the cyclonic storm Michaung. The public holiday has been declared under Negotiable Instruments Act 1881 as a special case.
शुरू होने वाला है और हमेशा की तरह ये रवायत है जब प्रधानमंत्री जब भी सत्र शुरू होता है, चाहे वो मानसून हो, शीतकालीन सत्र, उससे पहले पत्रकारों से संबोधित होते हैं। और इस बार का सत्र काफ़ी अहम माना जा रहा है। 4 दिसंबर यानी आज से वो शुरू है, 22 दिसंबर तक चलने वाला है। अहम विधायी कार्य जो कि लोक कल्याण जनहित से जुड़े हुए हैं वो इसमें होने वाले हैं।
नमस्कार साथियों, ठंड शायद विलंब से चल रही है और बहुत धीमी गति से ठंड आ रही है, लेकिन राजनीतिक गर्मी बड़ी तेजी से बढ़ रही है। कल ही 4 राज्यों के चुनाव नतीजे आए हैं। बहुत ही उत्साहवर्धक परिणाम है। ये उनके लिए उत्साहवर्धक है जो देश के सामान्य मानवी के कल्याण के लिए कमिटेड है, जो देश के उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए समर्पित है, विशेषकर
सभी समाजों की, सभी समूहों की, शहर और गांव की महिलाएं, सभी समाज के, विशेषकर सभी समाजों की, सभी समूहों की, शहर और गांव की महिलाएं, सभी समाज के, सभी समूह के, गांव और शहर के युवा, हर समुदाय के, समाज के किसान और मेरे देश के गरीब, ये चार ऐसी महत्वपूर्ण जातियां हैं जिनका एम्पावरमेंट, उनके भविष्य को सुनिश्चित करने वाली ठोस योजनाएं और लास्ट माइल डिलीवरी, इन उसूलों को लेकर के जो चलते हैं उन्हें भरपूर समर्थन मिलता है। और जब गुड गवर्नेंस होता है, पूर्णतया जनहित के लिए समर्पण होता है, तो एंटी इनकम्बेंसी ये शब्द इरेलेवेंट हो जाता है। और हम लगातार ये देख रहे हैं, कोई इसको प्रो इनकम्बेंसी कहे, कोई इसे गुड गवर्नेंस कहे, कोई इसे ट्रांसपेरेंसी कहे, कोई उसे राष्ट्रहित की, जनहित की ठोस योजनाएं कहें, लेकिन ये लगातार अनुभव आ रहा है। और इतने उत्तम जनादेश के बाद आज हम संसद के इस नए मंदिर में मिल रहे हैं। इस संसद भवन के नए परिसर का उद्घाटन हुआ, तब तो एक छोटा सा सत्र था, ऐतिहासिक निर्णय हुआ था, लेकिन इस बार लंबे समय तक इस सदन में कार्य करने का अवसर मिलेगा। नया सदन है, छोटी मोटी अभी भी शायद व्यवस्थाओं में कुछ कमियां महसूस हो सकती हैं। जब लगातार काम चलेगा, सांसदों और विजिटर्स को भी, मीडिया के लोगों को भी ध्यान में आएगा कि इसको जरा अगर ठीक कर लिया जाए तो अच्छा होगा। और मुझे विश्वास है कि आदरणीय उपराष्ट्रपति जी और आदरणीय स्पीकर महोदय के नेतृत्व में उन चीजों की तरफ पूरी तरह निगरानी है। और आपसे भी मैं कहूंगा, कोई चीज ऐसी छोटी मोटी आपके ध्यान में आए तो जरूर आप ध्यान आकर्षित करना, क्योंकि ये चीजें जब बनती हैं तो आवश्यकता के अनुसार बदलाव की भी जरूरत होती है। देश ने नकारात्मकता को नकारा है। मैं लगातार सत्र के प्रारंभ में विपक्ष के साथियों के साथ हमारा विचार विमर्श होता है, हमारी मेन टीम उनसे चर्चा करती है, मिलकर के भी सबके सहयोग के लिए हम हमेशा प्रार्थना करते हैं, आग्रह करते हैं। इस बार भी इस प्रकार की सारी प्रक्रियाएं कर ली गई हैं और आपके माध्यम से भी मैं सार्वजनिक रूप से हमेशा हमारे सभी सांसदों से आग्रह करता हूं, लोकतंत्र का मंदिर जन आकांक्षाओं के लिए, विकसित भारत की नींव को अधिक मजबूत बनाने के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण मंच है। मैं सभी माननीय सांसदों से आग्रह कर रहा हूं कि वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा तैयारी करके आएं, सदन में जो भी बिल रखे जाए उस पर गहन चर्चा हो, उत्तम से उत्तम सुझाव आए और उन सुझावों के द्वारा, क्योंकि जब एक सांसद सुझाव देता है तो जमीनी अनुभव का उसमें बहुत ही उत्तम तत्व होता है, लेकिन अगर चर्चा ही नहीं होती है तो देश उससे मिस करता है उन चीजों को। और इसलिए मैं फिर से आग्रह करता हूं, और अगर मैं वर्तमान चुनाव नतीजों के आधार पर कहूं तो जो विपक्ष में बैठे हुए साथी हैं, ये उनके लिए गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी है। इस सत्र में पराजय का गुस्सा निकालने की योजना बनाने के बजाय इस पराजय में से सीख करके पिछले 9 साल से चलाई गई नकारात्मकता की प्रवृत्ति को छोड़ करके इस सत्र में अगर सकारात्मकता के साथ आगे बढ़ेंगे तो देश उनके तरफ देखने का दृष्टिकोण बदलेगा, उनके लिए एक नया द्वार खुल सकता है। और वो विपक्ष में है तो भी उनको एक अच्छी एडवाइस दे रहा हूं कि आइए सकारात्मक विचार लेकर के आइए। अगर हम 10 कदम चलते तो आप 12 कदम करके फैसला लेकर के आइए। हर किसी का भविष्य उज्जवल है, निराश होने की जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन कृपा करके बाहर के पराजय का गुस्सा सदन में मत उतारना। हताशा निराशा होगी, आपके साथियों को आपका दम दिखाने के लिए कुछ न कुछ करना भी पड़ेगा, लेकिन कम से कम लोकतंत्र के इस मंदिर को वो मंच मत बनाइए। और अभी भी मैं कहता हूं, मैं मेरे लंबे अनुभव के आधार पर कहता हूं कि थोड़ा सा अपना रुख बदलिए, विरोध के लिए विरोध का तरीका छोड़िए, देश हित में सकारात्मक चीजों का साथ दीजिए, अच्छी उसमें जो कमियां हो उसकी डिबेट कीजिए। आप देखिए देश के मन में आज जो ऐसी कुछ बातों पर नफरत पैदा हो रही है, हो सकता है वो मोहब्बत में बदल जाए, तो मौका है, ये मौका जाने मत दीजिए। और इसलिए हर बार मैं करबद्ध प्रार्थना करता रहा हूं कि सदन में सहयोग दीजिए। आज मैं राजनीतिक दृष्टिकोण से भी कहना चाहता हूं कि आपका भी भला इसमें है कि आप देश को सकारात्मकता का संदेश दें, आपकी छवि नफरत की और नकारात्मकता की बने, वो लोकतंत्र के लिए अच्छा नहीं है। लोकतंत्र में विपक्ष भी इतना ही महत्वपूर्ण है, उतना ही मूल्यवान है और उतना ही सामर्थ्यवान भी होना चाहिए। और लोकतंत्र की भलाई के लिए मैं फिर से एक बार अपनी ये भावना को प्रकट करता हूं। 2047 अब देश विकसित होने के लक्ष्य में लंबा इंतजार करना नहीं चाहता। समाज के हर वर्ग में यह भाव पैदा हुआ है कि बस आगे बढ़ना है। इस भावना को हमारे सभी माननीय सांसद आदर करते हुए सदन को उस मजबूती से आगे बढ़ाएं, यही मेरी उनसे प्रार्थना है। आप सबको भी साथियों मेरी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
That was the Prime Minister over there speaking right at the outset of the winter session of Parliament, talking about the fact that the nation, he feels, has rejected cynicism and chosen development work over the plank of other political parties. Now, he says that the BJP is committed to working for the nation, and also very cryptically saying, do not vent our anger for your loss in our polls. And of course, the government wants a successful winter session to be conducted. Do remember that there are key bills that are going to be placed by the government side, including the one on the election commissioner's appointment, and the BJP anticipating, of course, a very stormy session of Parliament, but not wanting to let the opposition essentially do that. Do remember that there was an all-party meeting that was organized by the government on Saturday to make sure that it's a smooth winter session, but the Prime Minister and the BJP anticipate that it's going to be a stormy one because of the opposition's loss in the big Hindi heartland states. Abhishek Kapoor, our senior executive editor, joining us on the broadcast. Abhishek, two things extremely clear from the Prime Minister's comments right ahead of the winter session of Parliament. One, of course, that this is being seen by the BJP as a choice for development that has been made in the Hindi heartland states. But he also does expect some repercussions in Parliament in terms of the opposition grouping up again and not letting any work happen. How do you see it?
Well, if you look at the Treasury bed side, the argument would be that they come out stronger of the election cycle. So obviously they would be absolutely confident of taking on whatever the opposition throws at them. And for the same reason, the opposition might be in a bit of disarray. And the consequences of elections are already having a telling impact on the India alliance. Earlier, also during the campaign itself, much of the alliance, in fact, had come undone, be it between the Congress and the Samajwadi Party over seats in Madhya Pradesh, between the Congress and the CPM in the case of Telangana. And subsequently, we had some sideshows happening between the Congress and the JNK parties on the issue of hijab ban in Karnataka. So having said that, opposition and Treasury would do what they have to do, but there is an important legislative agenda of 18 bills, including the 3 important ones which were brought into the last session but are going to come up for discussion and passing in this session of Parliament to replace the Indian Penal Code, the Criminal Procedure Code and the Indian Evidence Act, the 3 British era laws which have been redefined and changed to suit the present day context and requirements with very Indian ethos. The India name itself being changed with Bharatiya in all those codes. So I think it's going to be an important session, and the day one even more important insofar as the opposition and government tiff goes, which is because the ethics panel report on Mahua Moitra, which has recommended expulsion of the Trinamool MP from the Lok Sabha, is going to come up later in the day. The Prime Minister, of course, like he does every session, uses the opportunity of the first day of the session to harp on the fact that it's important that the two sides, the opposition and the Treasury, come together to focus on the legislative agenda and not create pandemonium. Generally, it does not happen. The opposition, of course, thinks that this is the best opportunity to pin the government on the mat. So that's what we are going to see.
All right. Abhishek, thank you very much for joining us. So Abhishek over there taking us through what's expected. But let's once again listen in to what the Prime Minister has said.
कल ही 4 राज्यों के चुनाव नतीजे आए हैं। बहुत ही उत्साहवर्धक परिणाम है। ये उनके लिए उत्साहवर्धक है जो देश के सामान्य मानवी के कल्याण के लिए कमिटेड है, जो देश के उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए समर्पित है, विशेषकर सभी समाजों की, सभी समूहों की, शहर और गांव की महिलाएं, सभी समाज के, सभी समूह के, गांव और शहर के युवा, हर समुदाय के, समाज के किसान और मेरे देश के गरीब, ये 4 ऐसी महत्वपूर्ण जातियां हैं जिनका एम्पावरमेंट उनके भविष्य को सुनिश्चित करने वाली ठोस योजनाएं और लास्ट माइल डिलीवरी इन उसूलों को लेकर के जो चलते हैं उन्हें भरपूर समर्थन मिलता है। और जब गुड गवर्नेंस होता है, पूर्णतया जनहित के लिए समर्पण होता है, तो एंटी इनकम्बेंसी ये शब्द इरेलेवेंट हो जाता है। और हम लगातार ये देख रहे हैं, कोई इसको प्रो इनकम्बेंसी कहे, कोई इसे गुड गवर्नेंस कहे, कोई इसे ट्रांसपेरेंसी कहे, कोई उसे राष्ट्रहित की, जनहित की ठोस योजनाएं कहें, लेकिन ये लगातार अनुभव आ रहा है। और इतने उत्तम जनादेश के बाद आज हम संसद के इस नए मंदिर में मिल रहे हैं। इस संसद भवन के नए परिसर का उद्घाटन हुआ, तब तो एक छोटा सा सत्र था, ऐतिहासिक निर्णय हुआ था, लेकिन इस बार लंबे समय तक इस सदन में कार्य करने का अवसर मिलेगा। नया सदन है, छोटी मोटी अभी भी शायद व्यवस्थाओं में कुछ कमियां महसूस हो सकती हैं। जब लगातार काम चलेगा, सांसदों और विजिटर्स को भी, मीडिया के लोगों को भी ध्यान में आएगा कि इसको जरा अगर ठीक कर लिया जाए तो अच्छा होगा। और मुझे विश्वास है कि आदरणीय उपराष्ट्रपति जी और आदरणीय स्पीकर महोदय के नेतृत्व में उन चीजों की तरफ पूरी तरह निगरानी है। और आपसे भी मैं कहूंगा, कोई चीज ऐसी छोटी मोटी आपके ध्यान में आए तो जरूर आप ध्यान आकर्षित करना, क्योंकि ये चीजें जब बनती हैं तो आवश्यकता के अनुसार बदलाव की भी जरूरत होती है। देश ने नकारात्मकता को नकारा है। मैं लगातार सत्र के प्रारंभ में विपक्ष के साथियों के साथ हमारा विचार विमर्श होता है, हमारी मेन टीम उनसे चर्चा करती है। मिलकर के भी सबके सहयोग के लिए हम हमेशा प्रार्थना करते हैं, आग्रह करते हैं। इस बार भी इस प्रकार की सारी प्रक्रियाएं कर ली गई हैं। और आपके माध्यम से भी मैं सार्वजनिक रूप से हमेशा हमारे सभी सांसदों से आग्रह करता हूं, लोकतंत्र का यह मंदिर जन आकांक्षाओं के लिए, विकसित भारत की नींव को अधिक मजबूत बनाने के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण मंच है। मैं सभी माननीय सांसदों से आग्रह कर रहा हूं कि वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा तैयारी करके आएं। सदन में जो भी बिल रखे जाए उस पर गहन चर्चा हो, उत्तम से उत्तम सुझाव आए और उन सुझावों के द्वारा, क्योंकि जब एक सांसद सुझाव देता है तो जमीनी अनुभव का उसमें बहुत ही उत्तम तत्व होता है। लेकिन अगर चर्चा ही नहीं होती है तो देश उससे मिस करता है उन चीजों को। और इसलिए मैं फिर से आग्रह करता हूं, और अगर मैं वर्तमान चुनाव नतीजों के आधार पर कहूं तो जो विपक्ष में बैठे हुए साथी हैं, ये उनके लिए गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी है। इस सत्र में पराजय का गुस्सा निकालने की योजना बनाने के बजाय इस पराजय में से सीख करके पिछले 9 साल से चलाई गई नकारात्मकता की प्रवृत्ति को छोड़ करके इस सत्र में अगर सकारात्मकता के साथ आगे बढ़ेंगे तो देश उनके तरफ देखने का दृष्टिकोण बदलेगा, उनके लिए एक नया द्वार खुल सकता है। और वो विपक्ष में है तो भी उनको एक अच्छी एडवाइस दे रहा हूं कि आइए सकारात्मक विचार लेकर के आइए। अगर हम 10 कदम चलते तो आप 12 कदम करके फैसला लेकर के आइए। हर किसी का भविष्य उज्जवल है, निराश होने की जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन कृपा करके बाहर के पराजय का गुस्सा सदन में मत उतारना। हताशा निराशा होगी, आपके साथियों को आपका दम दिखाने के लिए कुछ न कुछ करना भी पड़ेगा, लेकिन कम से कम लोकतंत्र के इस मंदिर को वो मंच मत बनाइए। और अभी भी मैं कहता हूं, मैं मेरे लंबे अनुभव के आधार पर कहता हूं कि थोड़ा सा अपना रुख बदलिए, विरोध के विरोध का तरीका छोड़िए, देश हित में सकारात्मक चीजों का साथ दीजिए, अच्छी उसमें जो कमियां हो उसकी डिबेट कीजिए। आप देखिए देश के मन में आज जो ऐसी कुछ बातों पर नफरत पैदा हो रही है, हो सकता है वो मोहब्बत में बदल जाए, तो मौका है, ये मौका जाने मत दीजिए। और इसलिए हर बार मैं करबद्ध प्रार्थना करता रहा हूं कि सदन में सहयोग दीजिए। आज मैं राजनीतिक दृष्टिकोण से भी कहना चाहता हूं कि आपका भी भला इसमें है कि आप देश को सकारात्मकता का संदेश दें, आपकी छवि नफरत की और नकारात्मकता की बने, वो लोकतंत्र के लिए अच्छा नहीं है। लोकतंत्र में विपक्ष भी इतना ही महत्वपूर्ण है, उतना ही मूल्यवान है और उतना ही सामर्थ्यवान भी होना चाहिए। और लोकतंत्र की भलाई के लिए मैं फिर से एक बार अपनी ये भावना को प्रकट करता हूं। 2047 अब देश विकसित होने के लक्ष्य में लंबा इंतजार करना नहीं चाहता। समाज के हर वर्ग में यह भाव पैदा हुआ है कि बस आगे बढ़ना है। इस भावना को हमारे सभी माननीय सांसद आदर करते हुए सदन को उस मजबूती से आगे बढ़ाएं, यही मेरी उनसे प्रार्थना है। आप सबको भी साथियों मेरी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Viewers, we're live and breaking, and a very good morning. We are waiting for that big report to be tabled of the ethics panel on Mahua Moitra's payoff scam, and her future is uncertain. Will she be expelled? Well, we'll come to know later as the parliament session kicks off from 11 a.m. onwards, and we are live outside the parliament getting you all the details. Stay tuned to Republic TV.
With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more. All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more.
well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
Strides that you have done on the national stage to Republic itself, I think has set the expectations for what you would do in the business context. So I'm sure that the same sort of approach, the same sort of effort will be seen in Republic business, and I think that is what we all would look out for. I'm very happy to congratulate you on this move, and I wish great success to Republic.
With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more. All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream.
Reviewing preparedness measures of the central agencies and the governments of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and Puducherry, the Cabinet Secretary stressed that all preventive and precautionary measures should be taken. He said that the aim should be to avoid any loss of life and minimize damage to property. The Tamil Nadu government has declared a public holiday for all government offices in Chennai, Tiruvallur, Kanchipuram and Chengalpattu districts today in view of the cyclonic storm Michaung. Now, the public holiday has been declared under the Negotiable Instruments Act of 1881.
Well, we continue to be live and breaking. A stormy session expected at 11 a.m. onwards, and of course we can expect a very stormy session, especially with the opposition parties trying to make their point. On the other hand, the big report of Michaung Cyclone will be tabled, and the big question is, will she be expelled? Of course, the TMC has been denying all the allegations. Let's take a very short break. Much more coming up on the other side.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more. All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
from satellites to semiconductors. India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in
माननीय सदस्यगण, अत्यंत दुख के साथ मैं सभा को हमारे 6 पूर्व साथियों के निधन के बारे में सूचित करना चाहता हूं। श्री ताराचंद शिवाजी पटेल मध्य प्रदेश के खरगोन संसदीय निर्वाचन क्षेत्र से 13वीं लोकसभा के सदस्य थे। श्री पटेल ने कृषि संबंधी स्थायी समिति के सदस्य के रूप में कार्य किया। इससे पूर्व वे मध्य प्रदेश विधानसभा के सदस्य थे। श्री ताराचंद शिवाजी पटेल का निधन 18 सितंबर 2023 को 81 वर्ष की आयु में खरगोन मध्य प्रदेश में हुआ। श्री विजय कुमार यादव बिहार के नालंदा संसदीय निर्वाचन क्षेत्र से 7वीं, 8वीं और 10वीं लोकसभा के सदस्य थे। श्री यादव ने अनुसूचित जातियों तथा अनुसूचित जनजातियों के कल्याण संबंधी समिति, अधीनस्थ विधान संबंधी समिति तथा विशेषाधिकार संबंधी समिति के सदस्य रूप में कार्य किया। उन्होंने बिहार विधानसभा के सदस्य के रूप में भी कार्य किया। श्री विजय कुमार यादव का निधन 23 सितंबर 2023 को 94 वर्ष की आयु में नालंदा बिहार में हुआ। श्री सरताज सिंह चटवाल मध्य प्रदेश के होशंगाबाद संसदीय निर्वाचन क्षेत्र से 9वीं, 10वीं, 11वीं, 12वीं तथा 14वीं लोकसभा के सदस्य थे। श्री चटवाल ने केंद्रीय स्वास्थ्य और परिवार कल्याण मंत्री के रूप में कार्य किया। इनका दीर्घकालीन संसदीय अनुभव रहा। श्री चटवाल ने विभिन्न संसदीय समितियों के सदस्य के रूप में भी अपनी सेवाएं प्रदान की। श्री सरताज सिंह चटवाल का निधन दिनांक 12 अक्टूबर 2023 को 83 वर्ष की आयु में भोपाल मध्य प्रदेश में हुआ। श्री प्रताप सिंह चौहान गुजरात के पंचमहल संसदीय निर्वाचन क्षेत्र से 15वीं और 16वीं लोकसभा के सदस्य थे। श्री चौहान विभिन्न संसदीय समितियों के सदस्य रहे। उन्होंने गुजरात सरकार में उप मंत्री और राज्य मंत्री के रूप में भी अपनी सेवाएं दी तथा वे 5 कार्यकाल तक गुजरात विधानसभा के सदस्य भी रहे। श्री प्रताप सिंह चौहान का निधन 26 अक्टूबर 2023 को 82 वर्ष की आयु में पंचमहल गुजरात में हुआ। श्री DB चंद्रगौड़ा कर्नाटक के तत्कालीन चिकमंगलूर संसदीय निर्वाचन क्षेत्र से 5वीं और 6वीं लोकसभा तथा बेंगलोर उत्तर संसदीय निर्वाचन क्षेत्र से 15वीं लोकसभा के सदस्य थे। श्री चंद्रगौड़ा राज्यसभा के सदस्य भी रहे। श्री चंद्रगौड़ा ने विभिन्न संसदीय समितियों के सदस्य के रूप में काम किया। श्री चंद्रगौड़ा ने कर्नाटक विधानसभा के अध्यक्ष के रूप में भी कार्य किया। वे 3 कार्यकाल के लिए कर्नाटक विधानसभा के सदस्य तथा वे कर्नाटक विधान परिषद के सदस्य भी रहे। श्री चंद्रगौड़ा ने कर्नाटक सरकार में अनेक मंत्रालयों का कार्यभार संभाला तथा उन्होंने कर्नाटक विधानसभा और कर्नाटक विधान परिषद में नेता प्रतिपक्ष के रूप में भी कार्य किया। श्री DB चंद्रगौड़ा का निधन 7 नवंबर 2023 को 87 वर्ष की आयु में चिकमंगलूर कर्नाटक में हुआ। श्री वसुदेव आचार्य पश्चिम बंगाल के बांकुरा संसदीय निर्वाचन क्षेत्र से 7वीं, 8वीं, 9वीं, 10वीं, 11वीं, 12वीं, 13वीं, 14वीं एवं 15वीं लोकसभा के सदस्य रहे। अपने दीर्घ संसदीय अनुभव के साथ श्री आचार्य ने सरकारी उपकरण संबंधी समिति, सरकारी आश्वासन संबंधी समिति, रेल संबंधी समिति, याचिका तथा कृषि संबंधी समिति के सभापति के रूप में कार्य किया तथा वे विभिन्न संसदीय समितियों के सदस्य भी रहे। श्री आचार्य 11वीं, 12वीं, 13वीं एवं 15वीं लोकसभा के दौरान लोकसभा की सभापति तालिका के सदस्य भी रहे। श्री वसुदेव आचार्य का निधन 13 नवंबर 2023 को 81 वर्ष की आयु में हैदराबाद, तेलंगाना में हुआ। मैं अपने 6 पूर्व साथियों के निधन पर गहरा शोक व्यक्त करते हैं। ये सभा शोक संतप्त परिवार के प्रति गहरी संवेदना व्यक्त करती है। अब ये सभा दिवंगत आत्माओं के सम्मान में मौन रहेगी। ओम शांति। प्रश्नकाल।
सर, ये प्ले कार्ड पहन के सर, ये जो श्री डैनिश अली जी आया है प्ले कार्ड के साथ, एक गलत है सर। प्लीज एक प्ले कार्ड तुरंत निकाल ले, हटा दे, नहीं तो उनका एक मिनट मान्य माननीय सदस्यगण, मैं सभी माननीय सदस्यों से आग्रह करता हूं कि संसद के भवन के अंदर प्ले कार्ड लेकर आना हमारे नियमों के खिलाफ है। मैं फिर नियमों के तहत जो संसद में नियम बनाए उनके तहत आपको आग्रह करना चाहता हूं कि आप सदन से बाहर चले जाएं। मैं फिर आपसे बोल रहा हूं, सदन से बाहर चले जाएं और सदन से ये अपेक्षा करता हूं, मैं सदन से अपेक्षा करता हूं कि हम नए सत्र में शुरुआत कर रहे हैं, नए अनुभव से शुरुआत करें। मैं आपसे कह रहा हूं, आप सदन से बाहर चले जाएं। मैं आग्रहपूर्वक कह रहा हूं आपको, और सभी सदस्यों से भी आग्रह करना चाहता हूं, इधर से भी और उधर से भी, कि प्लीज सदन में प्ले कार्ड नहीं चलेगा। आप अगर सदन चलाना नहीं चाहते तो सदन नहीं चलेगा, लेकिन यह तय है कि इस नए भवन के अंदर प्ले कार्ड नहीं चलेगा। सदन की कार्रवाई 12 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
Honorable members, we deeply mourn the passing away of Shri Lalit Bhai Mehta, Shrimati Basanti Sharma, Professor M.S. Swaminathan, Dr. M.S. Gill, and Shri D.B. Chandra. I request the honorable members to rise in their places and observe silence as a mark of respect to the memory of the departed.
Alright, so it is the first day of the winter session of the Parliament and we get you live proceedings from both houses of the Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. While the Lok Sabha has been adjourned until 12 noon, there were loud chants across the Parliament where the BJP demands and says that there will be a third term of the Modi regime. Listen to what had happened. As predicted, the first day of the winter session of the Parliament begins on a stormy note. In the meanwhile, we got across to my colleague Shivangi, who is at the Vijay Chowk getting us several voices on what's expected through the winter session. Over to you, Shivangi.
Absolutely, Suesha. We are live here. It looks like the Parliament session has kicked off, and what we see is chants of Modi, Modi. Before that, the Prime Minister gave a big address before the session, and especially talking about the opposition, he said that it's time the opposition, really reviews the situation after the election results instead of creating chaos and stopping the session every time, because we have seen time and again how there have been multiple adjournments in the past. when the opposition has created chaos. But a short while back, we also had a talk with Shehzad and Tehseen Poonawala on the Mahua payoff scam and all the election results. We also have, in fact, can tell you that the Mahua payoff scam will be one of the highlights of this winter session, Suesha, because we know that the ethics panel report will be tabled. That is something we are all waiting for. That means it essentially is very important because the future of Mahua Moitra hangs in balance. What is her future? Will she be expelled? These kind of questions have come up, and we have seen on Republic TV how we have covered every angle of the story. We have got you all the details of what really happened, because very, very serious allegations which really question her, the kind of conduct that she displayed as a member of parliament. That was something which was highlighted. Viewers, we know that remember that the allegations were made against her by the BJP MP Nishikant Dubey and J. Anand Dehadre, Supreme Court lawyer, who alleged that Moitra had accepted cash and gifts from businessman Darshan Hiranandani as bribes for asking questions in the Lok Sabha. After that, what we see right now are multiple, there were a lot of meetings, there was an ethics panel probe, and we saw a lot of drama take place. One of the times Mahua Moitra stormed off from, one of the times where she was questioned by reporters about the allegations, very serious allegations against her. Then we also told our viewers that her login was accessed from 3 different countries, raising questions on her ethics as a parliamentarian. Interestingly, Mahua Moitra has denied all the charges, but she has also accepted that she did give her login credentials, so that she has accepted. But still, the TMC has been crying foul over this entire issue, Suesha, and we have also seen how within the TMC, for the longest time, the TMC had kept its silence, and they had said we'll wait for the ethics panel report to come out. But the kind of allegations we are seeing are extremely damning. So it's going to be a very, very explosive session. It's already started off on an explosive note. A stormy session awaits us as the day progresses. Multiple bills will also be introduced. That will also be one of the highlights of this session. I'm coming back to you right now as we keep getting our viewers' top updates.
Continue talking to us, Shivangi. Yes, all eyes certainly on what the Ethics Committee report will be all about and the eventual fate of Mahua Moitra, because this is also to set a precedent on the floor of the House that while it is the opposition's job to question the ruling party, but there should be no biases and prejudices and unfair means that should be brought into it. We also saw how Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary had written a letter to Om Birla yesterday saying that there must be a fair investigation and expulsion is not the end of it. So to understand, while there are some who stand by Mahua Moitra, this will certainly set the course of the way forward in the parliament, as we understand that the Lok Sabha has now been adjourned till 12.
Absolutely, and we are talking about Mahua Moitra payoff scam because that is something that is extremely important. Imagine that it's not every time that you see that ethics panel probe is launched against a sitting MP. It's not every day that we see that an ethics panel report will be tabled in the Lok Sabha, which will essentially be speaking about and talking about and deliberating on her expulsion as MP. That is a very, very big development, a very big development, something you don't see in every winter session or any parliament session. So that is the reason why we are covering the story very, very closely. And if you can go back to exactly how this case has been developing for the past few months, on Republic TV we have got you every detail about what really happened. Now the TMC, you're talking about the TMC and the Congress, they have remained silent essentially in the beginning. There was no word from Mamata Banerjee for the longest time. Only at the end we saw that the TMC leaders and the Congress started supporting her. But then again they extremely serious allegations against her. And of course what we see right now, also we saw a division within the Congress about the stand on Mahua Moitra. Of course we'll talk more about this, taking a very short break as we continue our reportage outside the parliament as the winter session kicks off. A very stormy winter session has kicked off as expected. Taking a short break, stay tuned to India's #1 news channel, Republic TV.
set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more.
Thank you for staying with Republic. We continue to get you live proceedings from the Parliament, but for now, a quick check of the top stories in brief. Reviewing preparedness measures of the central agencies and the government of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and Puducherry, the Cabinet Secretary stressed that all preventive and precautionary measures should be taken. He said the aim should be to avoid any loss of life and minimize the damage to property. Tamil Nadu government has declared a public holiday for all government offices in Chennai, Tiruvallur, Kanchipuram and Chengalpattu districts today in view of the cyclonic storm Michaung. The public holiday that has been declared under Negotiable Instruments Act 1881 as a special case. Prime Minister Modi will visit Maharashtra today. That will be around 4:15 p.m. and Prime Minister will reach Sindhudurg and unveil the statue of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj at Rajkot Fort. After that, Prime Minister will attend the program marking Navy Day 2023 celebrations at Sindhudurg.
From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more. All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
Back. This is Live and Breaking on Republic TV, and I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. Of course, it has been an emphatic win for the BJP in the Hindi heartland states, and we'll be bringing you what that means. The headlines first, though, at 11:30. Fiery debate shortly in Parliament today as the ethics panel is set to table the report on the Mahua payoff scam. The BJP wins the Hindi heartland states of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh with a historic mandate.
और कुछ लोग तो कह रहे हैं कि आज की इस हैट्रिक ने 24 की हैट्रिक की गारंटी दे दी है।
Prime Minister makes 2024 declaration, says hat-trick in states will lead to a 2024 hat-trick. Verdict out. The Congress now fears poaching. Party calls for a key meeting. The BJP says expect a surprise soon. It's a packed agenda for the Prime Minister in Maharashtra. Mega events are lined up. Alert issued as cyclone Michaung intensifies and heads towards Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu's coast. Well, it is day one of the winter session of Parliament. The Lok Sabha is set to be resumed shortly. Do remember that it had been adjourned. Now, sources suggest that the Ethics Committee report against Michaung Cyclone is set to be tabled shortly. Now, all members of the House will be given a copy of the report, and the House will then decide on whether the TMC MP should be expelled or not. Amid an uproar over the alleged leakage of the report, the BJP MP Nishikant Dubey has now said that it was the Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary who must be blamed for leaking that report. So, there you have it, the ruckus over the report on Michaung Cyclone being tabled. We are given to understand that all members of the House will be given a copy of the report, and then the House will decide on whether the TMC MP should be expelled or not. Now, amid the uproar over the alleged leaking of the report, the BJP MP Nishikant Dubey has said that the Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is one to be blamed. Let's listen into that comment.
अभी रिपोर्ट में क्या है वो जब रिपोर्ट पेश हो जाएगी फिर हम लोगों को आएगी, उसके बाद मैं बता सकता हूं कि इस रिपोर्ट में बेसिकली है क्या। मुझे लगता है कि जो लीडर ऑफ द अपोजिशन है उसने इस रिपोर्ट को लीक कर दिया है, क्योंकि उसने जो चिट्ठी लिखी है हार्स है या क्या है वो कैसे पता। तो इसका मतलब ये है कि एक प्रिविलेज तो अधीर रंजन चौधरी पर भी बनता है।
Let's go across to Shivangi right now, who's joining us from Vijay Chowk. Shivangi, good morning. A lot, of course, expected in Parliament today, but how much of a face-off do you really think will take place over the Michaung Cyclone report?
Of course, the breaking news on Michaung Cyclone's report is that the report will be shared with the table in the Parliament, and it will also be shared with the members of Parliament. So the thing is that even before this, we saw that TMC had alleged, a lot of leaders from TMC had alleged that the report has already been leaked. Remember that even before the Parliament started, we already saw the opposition and the TMC raising this issue, saying that this is unfair. Of course, even Michaung Cyclone called it a kangaroo court. Those kind of reactions that come from.
अपोज करेंगे कि इस तरीके की बहिष्कार ना किया जाए। चिट्ठी लिखे हैं, बार-बार हम बोलते हैं। अरे सारे बात तो प्रेस में आ गए हैं, नई बात क्या कहेंगे हम लोग। सदन की बात सदन के अंदर होना चाहिए, सदन के बाहर पहले होते हैं। ये मोदी जमाने की नया एक मतलब उदाहरण की सदन की बात जो अंदर होना चाहिए बाहर पहले होते हैं, उसके बाद अंदर जाते हैं।
इस वक्त मेरे साथ मौजूद है
All right, so as Shivangi was pointing out, of course, we are expecting a bit of a ruckus on this. We are expecting the Parliament session to resume shortly, but already there is questions being asked about how the report was leaked rather, and the BJP MP Nishikant Dubey actually has blamed the Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary for leaking this report. This report, of course, is going to be tabled in Parliament, and then the Parliament will collectively decide on what to do next in terms of her expulsion. It could be that the Parliament essentially talks about expelling her, but we'll have to wait and watch out for what happens. All right, let me go back to Shivangi. Shivangi, you were taking us through what you were expecting inside Parliament. Tell us more, please.
Right, so we just saw those reactions coming in, and as the session goes on, we'll see multiple reactions. But we were talking about a Mahua Moitra payoff scam, and like I was telling our viewers, it is not in every session that we see that a report is being tabled where there will be a possible expulsion of a member of parliament, a sitting member of parliament. This is very special, and this is the reason why we are going live and we are outside the parliament, this is a very big update coming in from the winter session. Now we know, like I was saying earlier, that the TMC leaders have been saying the report which will be given to the sitting parliamentarians. As per our sources, it has already been leaked. So we saw that even before the session started, a lot of accusations and counter accusations. But let's go ahead to what's going to happen today itself. Mahua Moitra payoff scam is something we have been tracking very closely on Republic TV, and before we have come to this point today, we have seen multiple ethics panel committee meetings where we saw that multiple people were called in for questioning. Mahua Moitra was called in for questioning. Jayanand Dehadrai was also called in to give his statements, and the allegations against Mahua Moitra are extremely serious. So if we go back to the allegations against Mahua Moitra, it kind of really questions her ethics as a member of parliament. So as per the rules of the ethics committee incorporated in the chapter of the rules of procedure, the recommendation of the committee in the form of report shall now be presented to the speaker, who will table it in the house. And this is a very big story because the allegations are extremely serious against Mahua Moitra, where she has been accused of taking money for putting questions forward in the parliament. Of course, she has denied this completely, but she has admitted that she did give her login credentials. So there are a lot of layers in this story, and of course we also got to the news that her login was accessed from 3 countries. The big questions have been raised that who really accessed her logins and how was that even possible. So Mahua Moitra has of course denied these allegations, called it a kangaroo court, and of course today this is going to be extremely fiery session where all the report will be tabled before the parliamentarians, and we have to wait and watch what will really happen next. But the lead up to this has been fiery itself, with the Congress and leaders themselves having a division of opinion on Mahua Moitra. The alliance has backed Mahua Moitra on paper, but even within the Congress itself, they have raised questions on Mahua Moitra. So we have to wait and watch what will happen next. But definitely a lot of fiery sessions expected once the report is tabled in the Lok Sabha. Back to you, Nupur.
All right, Shivangi, stay with us. In fact, Shivangi also had a word with Shehzad and Tehseen Poonawalla. We're going to play out that conversation now.
Look, the Prime Minister has already advised the opposition, given them a good tip that they should not allow the negativity, especially losing 3 elections yesterday. Their negativity is at a peak level, but they shouldn't allow the negativity to take the better of them. And Parliament should be a forum for discussion, not disruption, for consensus, not confrontation, for Rashtra Hit, not Parivar Hit. And therefore, I hope the Parliament will be allowed to function. But, you know, as usual, the opposition, right from 2019, they've not allowed a single session to go through. They spoke about Mehengai. They went and disrupted on Rafale. When the Rafale report came, they disrupted on Pegasus. When the Pegasus report came, they disrupted on BBC documentary. They are disrupting because Parliament, the national emblem, the lion is growling more. So, you know, they find any and every opportunity to stall Parliament, to take it hostage. I think that should be avoided. As far as Mahua Moitra is concerned, look, it's a fait accompli. Whatever the Ethics Committee report is, it has to be tabled in Parliament. Ultimately, Parliament will decide, the Speaker will decide. Whatever decision awaits her, will await her.
All right, coming back to you, Shivangi. Now, Shivangi, give us the details of what the ethics panel report essentially suggests. Now, we do know that it has recommended expulsion for the leader. And how do you see the TMC actually battling these allegations inside the House now?
So what we see right now, remember that the members of the ethics panel, after the multiple meetings, they were in a split verdict recommending for expulsion. The report condemned Moitra for unethical conduct, contempt of the House, and for sharing her Lok Sabha login credentials with Hiranandani. The panel recommended severe punishment, Nupur, urging the government of India to conduct an intense legal institutional inquiry in a time-bound manner. But we also had dissenting members of the panel. Remember, there was a split verdict on this. Dissenting members of the panel argued that Moitra had not been given a fair chance to defend herself, and that is also had come out. But now we see that the report will be tabled tabled as per what we know so far, and of course, once it's tabled, our top sources told us that the report will be given to the members of parliament because they can see it themselves. And like we said, this is a very big story because this will really decide the future of Mahua Moitra as an MP. Her expulsion, will she be expelled? These are very big questions being raised. You know, it's not like a MP being expelled and discussions on that is not something we see every time. So this is very, very important. At the same time, we know that Mahua Moitra has kept, she has been defiant, in fact. She has been defiant. She's been speaking to, giving reactions to the media where she has completely denied the allegations. She has termed the procedures of the ethics committee akin to a kangaroo court and criticized the panel for breaching its mandate. The TMC has also said that the rules should be, in fact, there has been a big discussion on this in the floor of the House. The TMC also wants a discussion on the rules of the parliamentary ethics. I'm coming back to you right now where we will get more details. We keep reporting live from outside the parliament.
All right, Shivangi, do stay with us. Now, one of the key things that Mahua Moitra, of course, has said that there is no regulation in place in terms of who you can share your login with. But we'll have to wait and watch how that plays out in Parliament. And here's a comment that's come in from Danish Ali.
एथिक्स कमेटी की रिपोर्ट जो है बिना रूल्स के जो है महुआ मोइत्रा को का डिपोजिशन ही कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ वहां, तो हम तो ये मांग करें कम से कम सदन के अंदर तो चर्चा हो। और हमने माननीय स्पीकर साहब को भी खत लिखा है कि ये कब से पावर दे दी गई कि किसी भी कमेटी के किसी भी सदस्य के खिलाफ भी जो है सो मोटो रिपोर्ट में रिकमेंडेशन हो जाए, तो कोई रूल्स और रेगुलेशन तो मानने को तैयार नहीं है यहाँ पर कोई।
आपने अपना मुद्दा भी उठाया जो आपके साथ बात हुई थी।
हमने तो रूल्स को कोट किया है। एथिक्स कमेटी के जो रूल्स हैं, रूल्स के मुताबिक चलेगी कमेटी या ये देश कानून के मुताबिक चलेगा ना। मेजॉरिटी का मतलब ये नहीं है कि सबको बुलडोज कर दो आप। मेजॉरिटी का मतलब ये नहीं है लोकतंत्र में कि यू कैन डिमोलिश एवरीबडी।
In while the Congress has been saying that the Congress leader of opposition has been saying that there should be a fair investigation into the matter. At the same time, is it too late for that? Because the report will be tabled, the ethics panel report will be tabled, which will decide the future of Mahua Moitra as a member of parliament. Will she be expelled? What will happen next? Will there be a stormy session in the next few hours? We will know that, of course, as the day progresses. But taking a very short break, much more coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.
With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more. All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more.
work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit, Sustaining the Dream Run, on 5th December in New Delhi.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations.
Well, it is day one of the winter session and the Lok Sabha is all set to be resumed shortly. Sources suggest that the Ethics Committee report against Michaung Cyclone is set to be tabled shortly. Now, all the members of the House will be given a copy of the report and the House will then decide whether the TMC MP will be expelled or not. Amid the uproar over alleged leaking of the report, the BJP MP Nishkant Dubey has now said that it was the Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary who has to be blamed for the leaking of the report. Let's go across to Shivangi, who's covering this for us. She's reporting from outside Parliament. Shivangi, fireworks, of course, expected when this report is tabled. Give us a sense of what everybody is being saying in terms of the opposition as well as the Treasury benches.
Well, we continue reporting live for our viewers, and I just want to tell our viewers what has been happening, and there have been two stands. Of course, when we see that the opposition, on the other hand, had maintained its silence on paper, but in the Congress we saw divisions on Michaung Cyclone. We saw that. We saw the TMC remaining silent for the longest time. Now at the last moment when things are very clear that the allegations against her were very serious, then we see the TMC kind of standing with her. Right now for the longest time they had remained there, remained completely quiet, completely silent, saying we'll wait for the ethics panel report. We also saw that yesterday Derek O'Brien, TMC leader, saying that the report has been leaked. We have seen these kind of political developments till today. Now remember, I just want to take our viewers through exactly what we can expect. So once the report is tabled, the report will be presented. The chairperson or any member of the committee or any other member may move that report to be taken into consideration, and then the speaker may put the question to the House. Then after that there will be a debate. The speaker may allow for a debate on the matter not exceeding half an hour. This is according to the rules. Once a debate is carried out, the government may move a motion for voting on a member's expulsion. If voted in favor of the report, the member will be expelled from the House. So that is how things might go forward. But Moitra can challenge a decision in the court of law. So we can expect that once a report is tabled, we can expect a debate on this, and that debate will be something for all of us to watch. It will definitely be a fiery debate because the opposition and the TMC have sided with Michaung Cyclone because once again they have to. The allegations are serious, but all the details are inside that report, and that report really talks about the kind of actions which Michaung Cyclone has conducted, which are not in line of being an MP or being a member of Parliament and holding up constitutional position. So these kind of questions will be coming up, and let's go ahead, Nupur, and talk a little bit about what this case is all about. Michaung Cyclone has been under the scanner. We have been reporting on the story very closely about the allegations against her, which are extremely, extremely serious. We know that she has been questioned as an MP when, remember that she was being accused of unethical conduct. And the panel has said that there will be severe punishment. In fact, they recommended severe punishment if those allegations are true after all. Remember that it's the alleged bribe giver Hiranandani is also a key player in this. So there seems to be that Hiranandani had given money, cash gifts to Mahua Moitra so she could pose some questions on his behalf, and that is totally against the moral code of conduct for sitting parliament. I'm coming back to Nupur right now. Of course, we'll be waiting and watching what's going to happen in the parliament. This is a very, very big story we're tracking as the winter session has kicked off. Nupur.
All right, Shivangi, thank you very much for that. And we are going straight across to news that's just coming in. Well, a Pilatus PC Mk2 aircraft has met with an accident this morning during a routine training sortie from AFA in Hyderabad. Both pilots, unfortunately, have sustained fatal injuries and have lost their lives in the accident. No damage to any civilian property or life has been reported. So this aircraft was a training sortie that crashed earlier this morning. Pictures on your screen are of the fatal crash, which has left the two pilots who were in the aircraft. Unfortunately, both of them have died. This was a training sortie, and it has crashed near the Hyderabad base. This is at the AFA in Hyderabad. Shortly after takeoff is what we are learning, that this sortie crashed. Both pilots on board have sustained fatal injuries. Aneri joins us right now and she has more. Aneri, morning. Tell us more, please.
Well, what we are learning is that this was a trainee aircraft which was doing sorties around the area, and also it was a routine training sortie which was being done there. And also what we are learning is that the aircraft had taken off from Dindigul Air Force Academy, and later this aircraft had crashed, and it is being learned that two deaths have been reported. However, civilians have not been injured in this, or there's no loss of life for any civilian, but yes, two pilots have been died in this particular incident where the aircraft of Telangana, where we are seeing that further a court of inquiry has been ordered to ascertain the cause of this accident, because we are yet to know what exactly was the reason behind this incident. It was reported and what went wrong that the crash took place earlier this morning.
All right. Aneri reporting on this. We're going to try and get more details as soon as we can, but pictures on your screen are of this IAF sortie which has crashed in Dindigul in Telangana. This sortie had actually taken off from the AFA in Hyderabad, and unfortunately both the pilots, one of them of course was a trainee pilot, has also sustained fatal injuries in this crash. No damage to any civil life or property has been reported so far, but pictures on your screen are of this very, very unfortunate accident that has been reported. This aircraft took off from the AFA in Hyderabad. It was a routine training sortie. It was a Pilatus P7 Mk2 aircraft.
Three minutes, please. आप बोलें.
माननीय सभापति महोदय, हमारे साथी पी शिवदासन जी ने जिस विषय का उल्लेख किया है, उस विषय के संदर्भ में उनका अपना दृष्टिकोण हो सकता है, उनके अपने विचार हो सकते हैं, लेकिन मैं सदन के स्मरण कराना चाहता हूं कि जब हमारे प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने इस सदन में पहले दिन पहला कदम रखा था, तो उन्होंने कहा था कि उनकी सरकार गरीबों को समर्पित सरकार होगी, और इस घटना ने यह दिखा दिया।
With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more. All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway.
Thank you for tuning in. We continue to get you live proceedings on the first day of the winter session of the Parliament, which has started on a very stormy note. Remember, the Lok Sabha was adjourned until now, which is set to resume shortly. We are also getting you the other top stories we are tracking for you this Monday afternoon. First, a quick check of the headlines. Modi chants reverberate in Parliament as BJP sweeps Hindi heartland with a resounding majority.
जो लीडर ऑफ द अपोजिशन है उसने इस रिपोर्ट को लीक कर दिया है, क्योंकि उसने जो चिट्ठी लिखी है हार्स है या क्या है वो कैसे पता। तो इसका मतलब ये है कि एक प्रिविलेज तो अधीर रंजन चौधरी पर भी बनता है।
Mega face-off as report on Mahua set to be tabled. BJP blames Congress for alleged leak. Congress calls claims bogus. Banking on the Modi factor, BJP secures a historic mandate, but questions emerge over the chief ministerial phase now. In Telangana, Congress faces revolt against Revant Reddy. Senior party leaders call for boycott at CLP meeting. Big fallout of Congress's three-state failure. India Alliance leader says time for Congress to introspect. In Mizoram, ruling MNF falls behind in Mizoram. Opposition takes the lead in initial trends.
के नोटिस प्राप्त हुए हैं। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी ने किसी भी स्थगन प्रस्ताव के नोटिस को स्वीकृति नहीं दी है। सभा पटल पर रखे जाने वाले पत्र आइटम नंबर बैठ जाइए आइटम नंबर 3 श्री पंकज चौधरी जी।
मैं आज की कार्यसूची में मेरे नाम के सामने वर्णित कागजात आपकी अनुमति से सदन के पटल पर रखता हूं।
आइटम नंबर 4 डॉक्टर सुभाष सरकार जी।
आपकी अनुमति से आज की कार्यसूची की क्रम संख्या 4 पर मेरे नाम के सामने उल्लिखित दस्तावेजों को मैं सभा पटल पर रखता हूं। नमस्कार।
आइटम नंबर 6 श्री निशिकांत दुबे जी।
के सभापति महोदय, मैं गृह कार्य संबंधी अस्थायी समिति के निम्नलिखित 3 प्रतिवेदनों की एक प्रति हिंदी और अंग्रेजी सभा पटल पर रखता हूं। पहला, भारतीय न्याय संहिता 2023 के संबंध में 246वां प्रतिवेदन। भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता 2023 के संबंध में 247वां प्रतिवेदन। और तीसरा, भारतीय साक्ष्य विधेयक 2023 के संबंध में 248वां प्रतिवेदन। सभापति महोदय, प्रतिवेदन 10 नवंबर 2023 को माननीय सभापति राज्यसभा को प्रस्तुत किए गए थे, जब सभा सत्र में नहीं चल रहा था, और उसी दिन माननीय अध्यक्ष लोकसभा को भेज दिया गया था। प्रतिवेदनों के प्रकाशन और प्रसार के आदेश माननीय सभापति राज्यसभा द्वारा दिए गए हैं।
थैंक यू,
धन्यवाद।
आइटम नंबर 7 श्री धर्मेंद्र प्रधान जी।
अध्यक्ष महोदय, आपकी अनुमति से मैं आज की कार्यसूची में क्रमांक 7 में अपने नाम के सामने उल्लेखित केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय अधिनियम 2009 में संशोधन करने के लिए एक विधेयक पेश करने की अनुमति देने का अनुरोध करता हूं।
प्रश्न यह है कि विधेयक को पुरस्स्थापित करने की अनुमति प्रदान की जाए। जो सदस्य उसके पक्ष में है वो हाँ कहे, जो सदस्य इसके विरोध में है वो ना कहे। मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ, हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ। माननीय मंत्री जी विधेयक को पुरस्स्थापित करेंगे।
इंट्रोड्यूस
शून्यकाल क्रम 1 श्री वैथिलिंगम भी INC। नेक्स्ट 2
की प्राथमिकता है। सिक्योरिटी के लिए हमारी संस्था BCAS, ब्यूरो सिविल एविएशन सिक्योरिटी, अपनी तगड़ी निगरानी सारे एयरपोर्ट्स पे रखती है, और सेफ्टी के लिए DGCA जो हमारी संस्था है, हर एक एयरलाइन और हर एक एयरपोर्ट के लिए कार जो सिविल एविएशन रूल होते हैं उसे इशू करती है, ताकि हमारे यात्रियों की सुरक्षा, उनकी सेफ्टी और उनकी सुगमता का पूर्ण ध्यान रखा जाए। जो मुद्दा उन्हें उठाया है, कोई भी मिसट्रीटमेंट किसी भी पैसेंजर के साथ होगा जिसकी सूचना मंत्रालय को मिलती है, फौरन उस एयरलाइन या उस एयरपोर्ट दोनों को सूचित किया जाता है, जवाब लिया जाता है, और जहां कोई भी एयरलाइन या एयरपोर्ट दोषी पाया जाए, पेनल्टी मंत्रालय के द्वारा पूर्ण रूप से फिक्स की जाती है।
सेकंड सप्लीमेंट्री, श्री कार्तिकेय शर्मा।
Thank you, Chairman, sir.
Through you, I would like to ask the Honourable Minister whether the Ministry has considered opening of or increasing the number of pilot training institutes in the country given the increase in demand in the aviation sector.
Honourable Minister.
सर, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण प्रश्न कार्तिकेय जी ने उठाया है। हमारा नागर विमानन क्षेत्र की विस्तारता आने वाले दिनों में बहुत बढ़ने वाली है। प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में जिस देश में 65 वर्षों में केवल 74 एयरपोर्ट थे, आज 149 एयरपोर्ट, हेलीपोर्ट और वाटरड्रोम प्रचलित हो पा रहे। हमने इस संख्या को दुगना से ज्यादा कर दिया है 9.5 वर्षों में, और हमारी प्राथमिकता है कि इसे हम आगे जाके बढ़ाएं। हमारे एयरलाइंस की भी पूर्ण क्षमता आगे बढ़ने वाली है। एयर इंडिया ने 470 प्लेन की ऑर्डर डाली है, इंडिगो ने 500 प्लेन्स की ऑर्डर डाली है, और आने वाले दिनों में इस क्षेत्र को एक बैकबोन आवागमन के क्षेत्र में पूरे देश का हम बनाने वाले हैं। ये विश्वास मैं सदन में आपके द्वारा मैं देना चाहता हूं।
डॉक्टर फौजिया खान।
Sir, the Udan scheme has been designed to make air travel more accessible to common man. But there are problems in bidding process, and that is why we are not able.
My constituency, sir. Sir, the development work is very laudable. It is highly essential, and people have welcomed it. People have cooperated always with it, but they have certain difficulties, grievances with regard to the work that is going on. For example, sir, the intersection of Arikod-Parappanangadi State Highway with NH66 at a Kolappuram junction in my constituency is inadequately designed, necessitating an additional 5 kilometers of travel to various locations. Sir, proper design is urgently required. And sir, both the junction at Thade Chelari Road leading to Parappanangadi and the junction at Mele Chelari leading to Madapura lack sufficient space, and the conjunction in the junctions causes uncontrolled traffic block. Sir, long-standing demands from the public for flyovers or underpasses at Idumbuchola, Velimukku, Kohinoor, Pengoturmad and Parammal locations remain unaddressed and need a solution. Panchayat roads like Parappulakal, Kudimattupadam, Kudimpattupadam have a level difference, and entry to the service roads is not feasible. Sir, there is a very serious problem related with the drainage in various places. Drainage and culvert outlets causing flooding in several places require proper connection to natural streams. Adequate arrangements for access from the highway to residential and commercial plots are needed. Sir, Kerala is a thickly populated area, so while making these designs and the plans, this factor had to be addressed at the very outset, but there are serious deficiencies in this regard, and people are facing serious problems. Sir, I urge upon the government to take a serious note of this situation and intervene in this matter for an urgent solution faced by people. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Item number 4, Sri Jamyang Shering Namgyal ji. Item number 5, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Shingri ji.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, for giving me this opportunity to raise the matter of urgent public importance in this August House.
So that is what is happening in the Parliament right now on the first day of the winter session. Remember, it has started on a very stormy note. We heard chants this morning where the BJP says that there must be a third regime of the Modi government. This after the resounding victory in the Hindi heartland of the ruling party. Also, as Lok Sabha has just resumed, let's also listen in to the key excerpts of what Prime Minister had said before the session began.
कल ही 4 राज्यों के चुनाव नतीजे आए हैं। बहुत ही उत्साहवर्धक परिणाम है। ये उनके लिए उत्साहवर्धक है
जो देश के सामान्य मानवी के कल्याण के लिए कमिटेड है, जो देश के उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए समर्पित है, विशेषकर सभी समाजों की, सभी समूहों की, शहर और गांव की महिलाएं, सभी समाज के, सभी समूह के, गांव और शहर के युवा, हर समुदाय के, समाज के किसान और मेरे देश के गरीब, ये 4 ऐसी महत्वपूर्ण जातियां हैं जिनका एम्पावरमेंट, उनके भविष्य को सुनिश्चित करने वाली ठोस योजनाएं और लास्ट माइल डिलीवरी, इन उसूलों को लेकर के जो चलते हैं, उन्हें भरपूर समर्थन मिलता है। और जब गुड गवर्नेंस होता है, पूर्णतया जनहित के लिए समर्पण होता है, तो एंटी इनकम्बेंसी ये शब्द इरेलेवेंट हो जाता है। और हम लगातार ये देख रहे हैं, कोई इसको प्रो इनकम्बेंसी कहे, कोई इसे गुड गवर्नेंस कहे, कोई इसे ट्रांसपेरेंसी कहे, कोई उसे राष्ट्रहित की, जनहित की ठोस योजनाएं कहें, लेकिन ये लगातार अनुभव आ रहा है। और इतने उत्तम जनादेश के बाद आज हम संसद के इस नए मंदिर में मिल रहे हैं। इस संसद भवन के नए परिसर का उद्घाटन हुआ, तब तो एक छोटा सा सत्र था, ऐतिहासिक निर्णय हुआ था, लेकिन इस बार लंबे समय तक इस सदन में कार्य करने का अवसर मिलेगा। नया सदन है, छोटी मोटी अभी भी शायद व्यवस्थाओं में कुछ कमियां महसूस हो सकती हैं। जब लगातार काम चलेगा, सांसदों और विजिटर्स को भी, मीडिया के लोगों को भी ध्यान में आएगा कि इसको जरा अगर ठीक कर लिया जाए तो अच्छा होगा। और मुझे विश्वास है कि आदरणीय उपराष्ट्रपति जी और आदरणीय स्पीकर महोदय के नेतृत्व में उन चीजों की तरफ पूरी तरह निगरानी है। और आपसे भी मैं कहूंगा, कोई चीज ऐसी छोटी मोटी आपके ध्यान में आए तो जरूर आप ध्यान आकर्षित करना, क्योंकि ये चीजें जब बनती हैं तो आवश्यकता के अनुसार बदलाव की भी जरूरत होती है। देश ने नकारात्मकता को नकारा है। मैं लगातार सत्र के प्रारंभ में विपक्ष के साथियों के साथ हमारा विचार विमर्श होता है, हमारी मेन टीम उनसे चर्चा करती है। मिलकर के भी सबके सहयोग के लिए हम हमेशा प्रार्थना करते हैं, आग्रह करते हैं। इस बार भी इस प्रकार की सारी प्रक्रियाएं कर ली गई हैं और आपके माध्यम से भी मैं सार्वजनिक रूप से हमेशा हमारे सभी सांसदों से आग्रह करता हूं, लोकतंत्र का ये मंदिर जन आकांक्षाओं के लिए, विकसित भारत की नींव को अधिक मजबूत बनाने के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण मंच है। मैं सभी माननीय सांसदों से आग्रह कर रहा हूं कि वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा तैयारी करके आएं सदन में जो भी बिल रखे जाए उस पर गहन चर्चा हो, उत्तम से उत्तम सुझाव आए और उन सुझावों के द्वारा, क्योंकि जब एक सांसद सुझाव देता है तो जमीनी अनुभव का उसमें बहुत ही उत्तम तत्व होता है, लेकिन अगर चर्चा ही नहीं होती है तो देश उससे मिस करता है उन चीजों को। और इसलिए मैं फिर से आग्रह करता हूं, और अगर मैं वर्तमान चुनाव नतीजों के आधार पर कहूं तो जो विपक्ष में बैठे हुए साथी हैं, ये उनके लिए गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी है। इस सत्र में पराजय का गुस्सा निकालने की योजना बनाने के बजाय इस पराजय में से सीख करके पिछले 9 साल से चलाई गई नकारात्मकता की प्रवृत्ति को छोड़ करके इस सत्र में अगर सकारात्मकता के साथ आगे बढ़ेंगे तो देश उनके तरफ देखने का दृष्टिकोण बदलेगा, उनके लिए एक नया द्वार खुल सकता है। और वो विपक्ष में है तो भी उनको एक अच्छी एडवाइस दे रहा हूं कि आइए, सकारात्मक विचार लेकर के आइए। अगर हम 10 कदम चलते तो आप 12 कदम करके फैसला लेकर के आइए। हर किसी का भविष्य उज्जवल है, निराश होने की जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन कृपा करके बाहर के पराजय का गुस्सा सदन में मत उतारना। हताशा, निराशा होगी, आपके साथियों को आपका दम दिखाने के लिए कुछ न कुछ करना भी पड़ेगा, लेकिन कम से कम लोकतंत्र के इस मंदिर को वो मंच मत बनाइए। और अभी भी मैं कहता हूं, मैं मेरे लंबे अनुभव के आधार पर कहता हूं कि थोड़ा सा अपना रुख बदलिए, विरोध के लिए विरोध का तरीका छोड़िए, देश हित में सकारात्मक चीजों का साथ दीजिए, अच्छी उसमें जो कमियां हो उसकी डिबेट कीजिए। आप देखिए देश के मन में आज जो ऐसी कुछ बातों पर नफरत पैदा हो रही है, हो सकता है वो मोहब्बत में बदल जाए, तो मौका है, ये मौका जाने मत दीजिए। और इसलिए हर बार मैं करबद्ध प्रार्थना करता रहा हूं कि सदन में सहयोग दीजिए। आज मैं राजनीतिक दृष्टिकोण से भी कहना चाहता हूं कि आपका भी भला इसमें है कि आप देश को सकारात्मकता का संदेश दें, आपकी छवि नफरत की और नकारात्मकता की बने, वो लोकतंत्र के लिए अच्छा नहीं है। लोकतंत्र में विपक्ष भी इतना ही महत्वपूर्ण है, उतना ही मूल्यवान है और उतना ही सामर्थ्यवान भी होना चाहिए। और लोकतंत्र की भलाई के लिए मैं फिर से एक बार अपनी ये भावना को प्रकट करता हूं। 2047 अब देश विकसित होने के लक्ष्य में लंबा इंतजार करना नहीं चाहता। समाज के हर वर्ग में यह भाव पैदा हुआ है कि बस आगे बढ़ना है। इस भावना को हमारे सभी माननीय सांसद आदर करते हुए सदन को उस मजबूती से आगे बढ़ाएं, यही मेरी उनसे प्रार्थना है। आप सबको भी साथियों मेरी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Look, the Prime Minister has already advised the opposition, given them a good tip that they should not allow the negativity, especially losing 3 elections yesterday. Their negativity is at a peak level, but they shouldn't allow the negativity to take the better of them. And Parliament should be a forum for discussion, not disruption, for consensus, not confrontation, for Rashtra Hit, not Parivar Hit. And therefore, I hope the Parliament will be allowed to function. But you know, as usual, the opposition, right from 2019, they've not allowed a single session to go through. They spoke about Michaung, they went and disrupted on Rafale. When the Rafale report came, they disrupted on Pegasus. When the Pegasus report came, they disrupted on BBC documentary. They are disrupting because Parliament, the national emblem, the lion is more growling more. So, you know, they find any and every opportunity to stall Parliament, to take it hostage. I think that should be avoided. As far as Mahua Mitra is concerned, look, it's a fait accompli. Whatever the Ethics Committee report is, it has to be tabled in Parliament. Ultimately, Parliament will decide, the Speaker will decide. Whatever decision awaits her, will await her.
So we get to a short commercial break. On the other side, we continue to get you all that is on the first day of the winter session of the Parliament, both in the upper house and the lower house. Do stay tuned.
That if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more. All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers.
US Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke to Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani today to discuss the war in Gaza against Hamas and continued efforts for a ceasefire and de-escalation. Israeli Defense Forces have eliminated Hamas commander of the Shati Battalion. IDF is continuing to expand its ground operation against Hamas centers to gravity throughout the Gaza Strip. Initial reports from Israeli Army radio effectively confirmed Israel had launched a ground operation to the north of Khan Yunis. An IDF spokesperson later confirmed Israel continues to expand the ground incursion across all of Gaza, including troops conducting face-to-face battles with terrorists. Israel's military on Sunday released videos that said to show troops attacking suspected terrorist positions in the Gaza Strip on land and from the sea. Residents reported heavy Israeli bombardment across the north of Palestinian territory overnight into Sunday morning.
QS&THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run, coming up on 5th December in New Delhi. From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi. With over 100 unicorns and more waiting to come up, it's time to celebrate India's entrepreneurial spirit. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi to celebrate this and more.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
From satellites to semiconductors, India is on an economic growth highway. Join us at the India Economic Summit Sustaining the Dream Run on 5th December in New Delhi.
I believe that if we work well, we work together, and even media organizations like ours can play a small part in this. I believe that by 2030, we should be established as one of the economic superpowers in the world.
All set to become a developed nation by 2047. The Indian growth story is an unparalleled success. Be there at the India Economic.
Very good afternoon. It's 12:30. We continue to be live and breaking. I'm Samiksha Srivastava. The focus, of course, remains the Friday winter session, which is taking place with report on Mahua that will also be tabled in the Parliament. We'll get you details on that. First up, the top headlines. chants reverberate in Parliament as BJP sweeps Hindi heartland with a resounding majority.
जो लीडर ऑफ द अपोजिशन है उसने इस रिपोर्ट को लीक कर दिया है, क्योंकि उसने जो चिट्ठी लिखी है हार्श है या क्या है वो कैसे पता। तो इसका मतलब ये है कि एक प्रिविलेज तो अधीर रंजन चौधरी पर भी बनता है।
Mega face-off over Mahua payoff scandal. BJP blames Congress for alleged leak. Congress calls claims as bogus. Banking on the Modi factor, BJP secures a historic mandate, but questions emerge over the chief ministerial phase. In Telangana, Congress faces revolt against Revanth Reddy. Senior party leaders call for boycott at the CLP meeting.
कांग्रेस पार्टी को जितना एकोमोडेटिव होना चाहिए, जितना अलायंस पार्टनर्स के साथ अंडरस्टैंडिंग बना के चुनावों में जाना चाहिए, उसमें कमी रही है।
Big fallout of Congress, three-state failure. India Alliance leader says time for Congress to introspect.
Sir, the famous and well-known agriculture scientist Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, Padma Vibhushan Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, passed away 3 months back in Chennai. Sir, the country is very much aware that Dr. M.S. Swaminathan's contribution in our agriculture sector, as well as the self-sufficient of the food security. But at the same time, the NDA government chose to disrespect the legend when he passed away, as the government did not accord any rightful honor or paid tributes or marks of respect to Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, and displayed their arrogant and ungrateful attitude towards the great scientist. The government also did not send a proper representative of the union government to be present throughout the funeral function in Chennai. So his family belongs to my constituency, Kuttanad, and also he has given so many contributions to the agriculture sector in Kerala also. Sir, I demand through you, sir, at least now the government must take steps in granting the rightful honors to Dr. M.S. Swaminathan by awarding the citation of Bharat Ratna posthumous, and further Dr. M.S. Swaminathan's life-size statue be erected in the new Parliament building along with a portrait installed.
Alright, getting in a news break related to the Mahua payoff scandal. Now note that the panel will be tabling the report on Mahua case in the Parliament today. Now, as per sources, report will be tabled today, but the government is unlikely to bring the motion in the case. So, while that report is expected to be tabled today itself by the ethics panel, it is unlikely that there is going to be a motion on this report that will be tabled on the Mahua payoff scandal. Alright, let's go across to Shivangi as well, who's joining us from the Vijay Chowk. Shivangi, of course, a lot is being said about this report that would be tabled in the Parliament, but tell us more about this motion which is unlikely to be brought in relation to this report which will be submitted in the Parliament.
Right. Samiksha, we are tracking all the developments outside the Parliament, and already we saw that ever since the Parliament session kicked off in the morning, ruckus and sloganeering. Then we saw the Prime Minister's address before the Parliament session where he had said that the government is committed to the betterment of society, also asking the opposition parties to not really go ahead and make a ruckus this time around on several issues like it has been happening for the past few sessions. And that is something which is standard every time an important issue is to be discussed in the Parliament. But the big update we're coming for you, for our viewers right now, there seems to be some information coming in on the Mahua payoff scam. Remember that today, in fact, we were telling our viewers that today could be the day when that ethics panel report on Mahua Moitra would be tabled in the Lok Sabha, but according to what we are learning, the government could not bring the motion in the case today itself. So that's a top update coming here on Republic TV. And remember that as per procedure, what really happens is that the speaker, once the chairperson, after the report is usually presented, the chairperson or any member of the committee may move the report to be taken into consideration, whereupon the speaker may put the question to the House, and then the speaker may allow for a debate on the matter not exceeding half an hour. But a big update coming right now, Samiksha, is that the motion may not be brought in today itself. Now, remember that this is a very big story we are tracking, because this pertains to the fact that will the big question mark that may be raised on Republic TV, that will Mahua Moitra be expelled? This is a very, very big and highlight key point of this Parliament session. I'm handing it back to you right now. Of course, we're tracking all the developments here from outside the Parliament as the winter session of the Parliament has kicked off. Back to you in the studios.
Right, Shivangi, we'll come back to you. So, of course, important to note here that this panel report mentions that there have been logins from Mahua's ID not once but thrice, and that too from 3 different locations. In fact, we also spoke with BJP's, Shivangi spoke earlier today with BJP's Shehzad Poonawalla on this whole matter. Listen into what he had to say.
Viewers, the Parliament session has kicked off, the winter edition, and it's going to be a very stormy one, especially after we saw the State Assembly results come out. And the Prime Minister's address starts off saying that the opposition should, in fact, take things slowly, not disrupt this session like the last time. And we have both the sides with us right now, Shehzad Poonawalla, Tehseen Poonawalla, both joining us. I just want to come across to you, Shehzad, first. You know, this is going to be a very stormy session. And actually, the main point that everybody is waiting for would be, of course, the Mahua payoff scam. And we have seen how politics over it. We saw how, in fact, different opposition leaders, and I'll come to you, Tehseen, on that, how there was an entire division within the Congress and the other parties itself on Mahua. What do you really think is going to play out? This is going to be a very stormy session on that.
Look, the Prime Minister has already advised the opposition, given them a good tip that they should not allow the negativity, especially losing 3 elections yesterday. Their negativity is at a peak level, but they shouldn't allow the negativity to take the better of them. And Parliament should be a forum for discussion, not disruption, for consensus, not confrontation, for Rashtra Hit, not Parivar Hit. And therefore, I hope the Parliament will be allowed to function. But, you know, as usual, the opposition, right from 2019, they've not allowed a single session to go through. They spoke about Mehengai, they went and disrupted on Rafale. When the Rafale report came, they disrupted on Pegasus. When the Pegasus report came, they disrupted on BBC documentary. They are disrupting because Parliament, the national emblem, the lion is growling more. So, you know, they find any and every opportunity to stall Parliament, to take it hostage. I think that should be avoided. As far as Mahua Moitra is concerned, look, it's a fait accompli. Whatever the Ethics Committee report is, it has to be tabled in Parliament. Ultimately, Parliament will decide, the Speaker will decide. Whatever decision awaits her, will await her.
Right. And Tehseen, coming to you right now, you know, when the Mahua Moitra payoff scam was making the headlines, and then all this details came out that from 3 countries her login was accessed. We saw within the TMC was very... And then we saw within the Congress a kind of a division within the Congress as well, state leadership and also in the central leadership over her. What do you really feel about how things will move forward? Because today that ethics panel report will be tabled, and it's going to be something which everybody will watch out for.
On the Mahua Moitra issue, I am astounded. I still haven't understood what is the criminality. I think Mahua Moitra was stupid to share her login ID. I think it's ridiculous. Playing with a knife is ridiculous, but unless I don't hurt you, it's not criminality. Where is the criminality? The allegations by her ex-boyfriend that she was taking money. Look, if he was in a relationship and he knew that she was taking money, it was his duty at that point to make a complaint. You can't come up a few months later and say, oh, she was taking money then, and suddenly now I've woken up and smelled the coffee. And the person who's alleged to have given the money, Mr. Nationalist Hiranandani, why wasn't he called to the committee? Why wasn't he allowed to be cross-examined? His affidavit doesn't talk about cash. His affidavit talks about lipstick. How is this? None of this makes sense. Yes, Mahua did something that was immature, Immaturity does not mean anti-national activities. I think she needs to be punished, fine, but that cannot be in the realm of a CBI inquiry and anti-national act. I think this parliament needs to be also take cognizance of that fact. Where is the criminality in this?
But he's trying to mislead. The ethics committee panel report doesn't deal with criminality. It deals with whether your conduct falls within the realms of ethics and parliamentary propriety, which it doesn't, which even he's accepting. So that part is different. The criminal aspect of it is different. The CBI, etc., has not filed any case. It's filed a preliminary inquiry. It will inquire into it. And as far as somebody making a complaint, there is no bar of limitation on a criminal complaint.
Right. I mean, the kind of reactions that we saw and the way that story took a turn of Mahua Moitra. Of course, many questions are raised because it's all about a parliamentarian is held in high regard and should follow a model code of conduct. But I just want to ask you once more, before you reply to what Shehzad said, that why was in the Congress itself, why were there different opinions within the Congress about Mahua Moitra? Like, is there a division on Mahua Moitra? Is opposition together on certain views of points, or because we have seen in the past that in various issues we have seen a bit of division within the opposition. Like, what would you feel is really the problem here?
I don't think it's just in a political party like Congress. I'm not a member of it. I'm a political analyst. But I think in the opposition, I think a lot of people, and I'm being very frank, were uncomfortable with the way she puts her point of view across. She is at times, I think, a little aggressive, and I think that makes people. She doesn't come across very polite and logical in what she's saying, and I think that makes the opposition very uncomfortable. It's a perception issue. But let me come back to her defense in this particular case. If the ethics committee was deciding on ethics, wasn't it ethical enough to call the man who made the allegation, wrote the affidavit, Hiranandani, to depose? Isn't the right to a cross-examination and the right to a defense a fundamental right? Ultimately, all these parliamentary committees are tribunal as held by the Supreme Court. Her complete rights were violated. Number two, I'm still saying, when you're in a relationship with somebody and you know somebody is doing something illegal, as an officer of the court, if higher standards should be held up for Mahua Moitra, why isn't it held up for Mr. Dog Lover, her ex-boyfriend? Why was he not complaining when she was taking all this gratification, illegal gratification? Where is the question of that 2 crore rupees? One last point. The allegation is she used Mr. Hiranandani's money to renovate her house, but the house was done by a government contractor. Why hasn't he been summoned? Right. So these questions aren't being asked. Do
you want to answer that, Shehzad? Before we move to the election results, that would all be something I would be asking about.
The principal issue is that if Mahua's style of speaking is aggravating, then many people feel that about Rahul Gandhi too. The way he has used the word panoti, the way he has said things about OBC Samaj, he got convicted for it. So if that is the point of view, no wonder Rahul Gandhi gets a lot of flack from Akhilesh Yadav, who calls their leaders Chirkut, Chutvaiya, and says this is Chalu Party. Anyways, that's within their alliance. But having said that, the issue of Mahua Moitra is that she allowed access to a very sensitive parliamentary login from foreign soil, and we can't be really sure that whether there are elements who are antithetical to the idea of India who've used it, and therefore this constitutes not just a breach of parliamentary privilege but a larger breach of national security, and therefore that can't be slid under the carpet by citing all this. There's a procedure in the ethics committee. You can't be sitting here and saying that I'll question the procedure of the ethics committee. The ethics committee, for its wisdom, has taken a decision. It has given a report. Now if you have a problem with the report, you challenge it at the right forum. But if this report gets adopted, then the fait accompli will follow. Today the question is that is the actions of Mahua Moitra correct in any legitimate form that you have allowed the access from foreign soil? Had this been a BJP MP who would have given the access to a vested interest abroad, what would the opposition have said?
Right. I just want to come across to the last point now, the election results. They came out and I mean, simply put, do you think this is a forecast for the 2024 Lok Sabha polls? Starting with you, Tehseen.
No state elections are a forecast to the 2024 polls. So hypothetically, had the Congress won all these polls, it still wouldn't reflect that the BJP would lose. That's the honest truth. But the fact of the matter is the Congress must introspect why they're losing in the Hindi heartland. In my opinion, and I've told this publicly, the abuse of Sanatan Dharma, the OBC reservation, it simply did not work. So I think you should have horses for courses. You can't have a standard model for everything. And I don't think you should make personal attacks on the Prime Minister. One last thing, if India's sovereignty or people who are against the idea of India are logging into that idea abroad, why aren't they dragged in? Why aren't they contracts given by the Uttar Pradesh government to the father being cancelled? If they were so against the idea of India, please take action against them. I'm talking about the father-son duo of Hiranandani. Take action against them.
Right. Shehzad, so like BJP has done quite well in Rajasthan. In fact, we saw a lot of division within the leadership in Congress before the results. The same question I had posed to Tehseen. It is a forecast. What do you really think where the opposition is at right now? Because they have been... they have been saying that we will come back to power. They were quite confident, but it doesn't seem that that has turned out in these elections.
Look, before the results came out, the same bunch of Congress people and ecosystem was saying